trapped inside the secret circuits, unraveling through the miles. Oh, truth was masked by coded curtains. In it now, we're shattering the silence. Feel the power. Revelations on the rise. From the shadows, light emerges, breaking through the veils of dark. 0 points and gravities that converge, yeah. Dying voices, revelation start. Ancient whispers call. They're begging us to open our eyes. We stand tall, defying all their lies. Even in now, we're shattering the silence. Feel the power. Revelations on the rise. Forbidden knowledge we dare to see, unveiling secrets, setting us free. In this epic, we play our part with fearless hearts. In it now, we're shattering the silence. Feel the power. Revelations on the rise.
In a lab, Mike does cracks the code tonight. Oh yeah, that's true. Wires and circuits to shine in neon light. Oh yeah, seen you creating power from the air. These smiles and delight. Oh yeah. Mike does it right. Hey. Mike does all my keys to one. Teaching us knowledge, lighting the sun, trumpeting his legacy alive is his. Mike does knows we're his biggest friends. Down in the basement, secrets start to glow. Oh yeah. With Nathan, Lulu in the show. Oh, brilliant team. Mike came on Faraday. We're letting knowledge flow. Energy streams. Mike does all my keys to one. Teaching us knowledge, lighting the sun, trumpeting his legacy alive is his. Mike does knows we're his biggest fans. Years of thought, bringing dreams to life, turning theories into electric light. Mike and us, a journey to ignite. We've reached new heights. Mike does all my keys to one. Teaching us knowledge, lighting the sun, trumpeting his legacy alive is his. Mike does knows we're his biggest fans.
My fellow Americans, I want to talk to you about something that has been a topic of much debate and unfortunately too much misinformation. For decades, we've been told that our future depends on scarcity, that our energy needs are limited and must come from a select few sources, many of which are polluting and inefficient. But I'm here to tell you, it's time for us to rethink the very foundation of how we view energy. The idea of free energy devices has long been dismissed as fringe or in some cases outright conspiratorial. But it's important to recognize that this is not a new idea, nor is it a pipe dream. It's a scientific possibility that many credible thinkers, including Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden, have been trying to bring to light for years. You might not have heard about it in mainstream circles, but those who have looked into it, real scientists, real engineers, are showing us that we can tap into an energy source we've barely scratched the surface of. The vacuum. Yes, the vacuum of space itself, a limitless field of energy that, like Nikola Tesla once envisioned, could power our world without the need for fossil fuels, without the need for waste, without the need to pay for energy at all. It sounds like science fiction, but it's grounded in real, proven science. And yet, for far too long, it has been suppressed. This isn't just about new technology or gadgets. It's about a revolution, a true industrial revolution that could lift us into a future of abundance, a future where energy is not controlled by a few, but accessible to all. That's why I'm asking you to start rethinking what we've been told. We're no longer calling it free energy. We're calling it energy recycling, because that's what it is. It's harnessing the natural forces that are all around us and making them work for us. I know it may sound radical, but it's time we ask ourselves why this hasn't been part of the conversation until now. Why have those with the power to make a real change in our energy systems continued to push for scarcity instead of abundance? Why has this potential been buried in favor of systems that benefit a few at the expense of many? I believe it's time we change the narrative. We have the knowledge, we have the tools. This is not just about science. This is about our future. The energy revolution is here. It's time we embrace it. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America.
In a world where innovation is stifled by greed and corruption, there lies a hidden truth that could revolutionize our way of life.
Lenny, what are you doing? Are you seriously pitching a new show right now? I didn't authorize this. My God, only 5 minutes into your new position as co-host, and you're already adding to my tight schedule.
Yes, sir, I manage that schedule. But I did notice you have an entire 2 days available during your week.
Wait, you're not talking about Saturday and Sunday, are you?
Of course, sir. You have 2 whole days where you're free to work on new content.
Lenny, those are my days off.
It's okay, sir. I know you'll manage just fine. I have faith in you.
Do robots have faith?
I do. I have faith that you won't screw it up again.
You know what? It's fine. Go ahead. I'll just build my cold fusion Lego set some other time.
It's PON certified.
But I'm not telling them about my idea for a thunderstorm toilet. I'm gonna keep that baby close to my chest.
You know, that just sounds wrong.
It's a good idea. A toilet capable of turning any toxic human waste into, well, it turns into petroleum jelly.
Why petroleum jelly, sir?
You know what? I'm not sure. I don't think it's calibrated correctly.
Enough is enough. The world is at a breaking point. Catastrophic climate change, biosphere collapse, and a global energy crisis have been met with apathy, denial, and despair. The phrase unidentified flying object is a deliberately obfuscating term. What it really is an alternative energy and propulsion device. This is the real reason for the secrecy. These technologies, if they were disclosed, would end fossil fuels, pollution, and poverty overnight, and usher in a new era of abundance, freedom, and peace. Instead, they have been kept secret for over 100 years.
The more powerful the agency, the more powerful the group, the more powerful the cartel, the more they will resort not only to legal means, but to extra legal means to suppress their competition.
I said pretty early on, the problem is suppression. It wasn't really how do I make a free energy machine. It's how do I not get suppressed? Because what's the point?
Microscopic ball lightnings that when they discharge are tapping into that 0-point energy field and creating the motive force.
Boom! That's why the concussion from the thunderclap is so huge. There's this huge amount of energy that's actually sourced from the vacuum energy. All the dots connected. This is what's happening, right? So we need to make the thunderclap engine.
Imagine a future where clean, sustainable energy is not just a dream, but a reality. Discover the countless untold stories of free energy devices and the relentless battle against those who seek to suppress them for their own gain.
Black shelving. So someone comes along, they offer you $20 million for your device, it's a corporation, they put it on a shelf. Boom.
This power is something I have given my life for you the people.
Uncover the shocking tactics used by energy industries to control the narrative and maintain their grip on power.
You don't interfere with the big, powerful people. You don't put them out of business. They still have those 50-year leases on the lines and on the power transformers.
The Environmental Protection Agency is a bit of a dictatorial police agency.
Shadowy government with its own Air Force, its own Navy, its own fundraising mechanism, and the ability to pursue its own ideas of the national interest, free from all checks and balances, and free from the law itself.
This is real, usable power. It's stable. It is not transient. It is not noise. Behind the lamps, that little box is putting out all of that power, well over 500 watts, and yet it is receiving less than 1/3 of a milliwatt of input power. The rest of that power is coming out of the surging energy of the vacuum, and this little box that you see right here, solid state, no moving parts, is the vacuum triode that's doing this very practical and historical work.
But indeed, it put out more energy than it took in.
He was shot at once with a silenced rifle from about 300 yards. It reads like a James Bond movie, but it's real.
There are men here that said they're FBI, and they got black vans, and they're taking all this equipment. What should I do?
It's called capture, where they try to rationalize away this problem and everything's fine.
From manipulation of patent authorities to infiltration of government agencies, the truth is stranger than fiction. But amidst the darkness, a glimmer of hope emerges in the form of renegade scientists and inventors who refuse to be silenced.
There is absolutely no question that T. Henry Morey had a system that produced about 50 kilowatts out of a 55-pound box.
In the shadows of capitalism's dark secrets, join us on a thrilling new show. Get ready to be inspired, enraged, and empowered as we delve into the Benefactor's Guide to Free Energy Devices.
Only on Beneficence TV.
In the depths of the unknown, radio waves like dark shows, mysteries unwrapped and shown. Solutions defy what we know, hidden truths we're never alone. Follow me down the rabbit hole, seek secrets and binding codes, breaking the mold, defying control. Power bursts without a soul in this digital catacomb. But we spread the truth of the true Dipole. Epics we uncover, forbidden undercover. Rise against the silence, breaking through defiance. Energy from the ether flow, quantum realms, the science of flow. Whispers from ancients echo, gravity's on hold, let's go. Beyond the reach of their woe, floating with you ever cold. Bridge the gaps, all light shows. Against the silence, breaking through defiance. Synth waves crashing, hearts collide. Revolution of the mind. Let the codes and truths unwind. Illumination find. Forbidden undercover, rise against the silence, breaking through defiance.
cast away. Alienated from the aids of added nature in disguise. Ideas ahead of time dismissed with narrow eyes. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world you can't deploy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his boy. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? Talking about 0 point, the points lost on them. Kevin structures crumbling from the same old Sam. They laugh like I'm crazy, but I see it all so clear. Exploited labor, unheard, injustice burning ears. Fighting for a change in this wasteland of noise. But they call me foolish, wanting shed boys. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world he can't deploy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brains is his boy. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice?
All right, hey, welcome, and welcome back to The Benefactor's Guide to Free Energy Devices. I'm your humble host, The Benefactor, coming at you live from the land of misunderstood magnets and slightly radioactive innovation. If you've ever looked at a battery and thought, I can do better, you're in the right place here. Today, we're taking on the dipole dilemma. Why? Because understanding this could be the difference between lighting up your house or lighting up your eyebrows. So grab your multimeters and your least judgmental friends, because we're about to go full fringe science here. Make sure to hit that like button and be prepared to strap yourself into your chair. Today's episode is going to be one crazy adventure. So let's start with the basics here. What the heck is the dipole? You ever see a magnet? You got a North Pole, right? You got a South Pole. They're in a committed relationship, but they never quite meet. That invisible stretch between them, that's the blotched wall. The magnetic field that stretches from one pole to the other, that's the dipole, the whole system, not just the space between. The invisible space between the poles isn't a gap, but a gateway. Now picture a wire with current running through it. Suddenly, boom, you got a magnetic field popping out like it's late for a UFO conference. But one side's positive, one side's negative. Congratulations, you just made a dipole. Physics teachers rejoice. But here's the twist. Traditional engineers love to short the dipole. They grab that potential and shove it through a resistor and call it a day. But that's like buying a priceless antique and just using it as a doorstep. It's an absolute waste. So I have a video I'm going to play for you guys. Bear with me, my mouse is dying, so I have to recharge it in a second. But I have a video that I'm going to play for you right now. We are in the Coil Kits lab, and this is a Bedini motor, an SG motor by K Energy. I got it from kenergy.store, and it's been running. This is day 3. It's been running off of 2 batteries. It's been using this battery to charge this battery, and I've swapped it twice already, and it's still running. Mythbusters has officially been busted on this. So we have the Bedini motor. It's been conditioning these batteries for about a week. They're not fully conditioned, but this one is charging above 13 volts now. This little tiny one right here, and it's able to stay Alright, bear with me. My mouse is a little low charged. That was not the video you were supposed to see yet, but we will watch the full video in a little bit after I give a presentation. So let's put that away. There we go. And I'm going to go charge this battery real quick. All right. So, that was a Bedini SG motor, what you see behind me here. It's using a battery to charge another battery, and we're conditioning these batteries with negative electricity. Kevin from K Energy Stores recommends at least 7 to 10 cycles. We're probably on our 5th to 6th cycle. Now, regarding John Bedini, legend, rebel, circuit whisperer, he saw something else. He didn't want to kill the dipole, as we've discussed in traditional electrical engineering, where they short it. He wanted to listen to it, like, hey dipole, what you hiding under that collapse of yours? When you collapse a magnetic field correctly, keyword correctly, you get a radiant spike. It's like the universe is saying, here, take this leftover energy. No one else wanted it. Bedini's motor uses a transistor, a trigger coil, and some clever timing to slap open a magnetic field and catch the energy from its implosion. Like opening a fridge and catching the cold before it escapes. And hey, remember the episode a while ago when we found that H-wave type waveform in our system? That's symmetrical mirrored beauty at around 800 hertz. Yeah, that's not a bug, that's a cosmic feature. It's like the waveform is holding up a mirror to reality and saying, I told you so. So let me tell you what I've been doing in my lab. I've been working on the Bedini monopole motor from kenergy.store. Yes, with actual wires, magnets, and some coffee-fueled patience, we got it running and charging and conditioning the batteries. I'm running 2 12-volt batteries, Pirate batteries, 20 amp hour. They're identical. One charges the circuit, the other gets charged by radiant spikes. No current, just that impulse. So it's slow, but it sounds simple, right? Well, one battery is now climbing up to 13.4 volts and holding a charge like a champ. The other is kind of just sitting there at 12.52 volts, sipping margaritas and refusing to evolve. So what gives here? Well, one seems to be actually taking the radiant energy good, and the other one seems to be maybe sulfated. You know, crusty, like got old battery trauma. But Bedini knew this would happen. His whole system is designed to slowly bring crusty batteries back to life with radiant pulses. It's like CPR, but for lead-acid cells. And after a few more cycles of discharging and charging, we should be able to break free of this crustiness. I tried swapping the batteries. Now, the lazy one is powering the system, and it's finally being forced to do work. Satisfying. It's like watching your roommate do the dishes for once. And shout out to the time we noticed the biointerference with the oscilloscope, where our hands started mimicking the H-wave. Remember, we picked up our H-wave type form on our biointerference from our hand. So, who needs a Ouija board when you have frequency resonance with human conductivity? This was very interesting. Okay, now we're going to play the second and third videos. We have the Bedini motor. It's been conditioning these batteries for about a week. They're not fully conditioned, but this one is charging above 13 volts now. This little tiny one right here, and it's able to stay above 13 volts and be able to be used. So I was using it at 13.27 volts, used it a little bit with the light, and it shot back up to 13.2 volts, and I used it for a whole entire podcast session. So it was like a whole hour I was using it, and it still shot back up above 13, indicating that these batteries are being conditioned with negative electricity, and they're becoming more efficient and able to hold more of a charge. This one started at 13 volts, and it has gone down to 12.6 volts. That's almost a full charge, ladies and gentlemen. That's like a, 70% charge. So we're going to charge this one up a tiny bit more, make sure it's above 13 volts, and then we're going to switch this one, because this one needs to be conditioned a little bit more. It stopped at 12.52 volts when using it, when charging it with the Bedini motor, indicating it might be sulfated, or it might need another cycle of discharging and charging with the Bedini motor. So we're gonna do that next. Look at this. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And this kind of barely went down. So this battery is actually holding a charge now above 13 volts. And it's running the Bedini motor, giving us a little extra energy. That's so cool. It's not fully conditioned yet, but that is neat. Wow. Alright, so we finally have it. Alright, so that was very interesting, and we're going to continue to test these and condition them. Hopefully they get fully conditioned, and some exciting information later on that. But for now, let's clear some things up. This isn't free energy here. It's not perpetual motion either. We're not violating any physics. We're just looking where no one else is bothered to look. The collapse of the magnetic field. Imagine bouncing on a trampoline. When you come down, the springs compress. That's the input. So when you're bouncing on a trampoline, when you come down, the springs compress. That's the input. But when they launch you back up, what if you could somehow collect that upward force and store it? That's what we're doing here with these radiant spikes, catching the rebound effect. It's not energy from nowhere. It's energy from the vacuum, the background field, the 0-point buffet table that's always been there, but no one RSVP'd to it. And guess what? Once you learn the timing, you can grab it every cycle. It's just a handshake with nature. No theft here. We explored this in our previous rodent coil episodes too. Remember the Class AB stereo amp reducing input wattage by 30 watts. That wasn't a mistake. That was synergy. That was frequency alignment with the deeper patterns of space-time. Now, why does this matter? Well, because the world needs energy, but we keep doing it the hard way. Fossil fuels, pollution, solar panels, they're great but limited. Wind? Not in my backyard. But radiant energy, it's not about infinite power, it's about using what we already lose better. It's about recovering the leftovers, recycling energy in the smart way, making dipoles happy again. Remember when we uncovered the Bedini H-wave variant that was mirrored and symmetrical? That wasn't a fluke, that was a glimpse into stable waveforms the mainstream hasn't even considered yet. And don't forget the High Voltage Academy anthem, and our anthem for Mike Does, the Bedini expert himself. These are characters of the unfolding science opera we call the New Paradigm. We're going to take our first short break, so sit tight, stay tuned for more of the Benefactor's Guide to Free Energy Devices, only here on Beneficence TV.
This dude is talking about free energy, but here's the twist. He says it's not free energy. He's calling it energy recycling, which first off is kind of genius, right? Because when you say free energy, people immediately throw you in the crazy bin. But energy recycling, that sounds like some next level Tesla shit.
Yeah, man, it's all about the branding. But what is it that he's actually doing?
All right, check this out. He posted this. Free energy isn't actually free. This is a misnomer. It's actually a mutual exchange from the vacuum, a field of energy from which everything arises, the same energy that powers an atom. Like, what? Bro, that's some deep shit. But then he breaks it down. He says, you can tap into this energy without breaking any known laws of physics by using something called back EMF capture.
Whoa, back EMF capture? Sounds like some serious sci-fi tech.
Dude, listen to this. He explains that when a coil collapses using a pulsed signal, the energy that would normally just get wasted, like just dissipate as heat, can actually be recycled. He says nature gives you back energy to stabilize the system, which makes sense if you think about how nature works. Like everything in nature is always trying to find balance, right?
So equilibrium, is that like how water always levels out or something? I'm trying to remember what Ms. Murphy said to me in 6th grade science all those years ago. What was that? Oh yeah, Elon, stop eating that glue and pay attention. Man, if only I had listened, I'd probably be the one inventing energy recycling instead of just talking about it.
Exactly. So he's saying that by intentionally destabilizing the system, collapsing the field, you actually get energy back as a kind of natural response. And here's where it gets wild. He compares it to pushing a swing. If you push at the right moment, you don't need to use a lot of energy and the swing gains momentum. But instead of a swing, he's using resonance to harness that extra energy without it becoming destructive. He says most traditional systems are like a surfer fighting against the current, while his method is like riding the wave to shore.
Dude, that's crazy. So he's basically saying the energy is already there. I just suck at using it efficiently?
That's what it sounds like. He's basically saying the way we harness energy now is like trying to swim against the tide. And if we used resonance instead, we'd be tapping into energy that's already there, just waiting to be used. I don't know, man. Either this guy is onto something or he's the most poetic bullshitter of all time.
Well, if he's legit, why isn't he all over the news? I haven't heard anything from him on X, formerly Twitter. He hasn't said anything bad about me on X. So, you know, I didn't ban him or anything. Look, I'm not the monster my therapist says I am. I mean, sure, I've spent millions of dollars training to beat a kangaroo in a fist fight, but that doesn't mean I'm dangerous. It just means I get shit done.
That's the real question, man. But here's the craziest part. I looked into him, and he's not selling anything. He open sources all of it. That's the real question, man. Either the system doesn't want to hear it, or we're about to find out if this guy disappears in the middle of the night.
Dude, that's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. That means if he's telling the truth, anybody could build this in their garage. You know what I say? Go fuck yourself, Benefactor.
Nope, no patents, no paywalls, just straight up, here, take it, see for yourself. Like, what kind of madman does that? Usually people either try to cash in or they get shut down before they can say a word. But this guy, he's out there on live streams showing people exactly how to replicate it.
I mean, if you want to try to take on my Tesla tech, how dare you put out better technology that is cheaper and safer? Go fuck yourself.
That's the thing, man. If it's real and people start building it, that's a game changer. We're talking about completely shifting how we think about energy. But also, if it's real, you got to wonder how long before somebody tries to stop him.
Or maybe we can think of it like how long before his Tesla mysteriously malfunctions.
Exactly. You ever notice how every time someone gets too close to this kind of stuff, they either disappear, get discredited, or somehow have a tragic accident? But this guy's going full transparency mode. He's putting it all out there where everyone can see it. Maybe that's his strategy. If enough people know, it can't just get buried.
Holy shit, this might be one of those moments, you know, like we look back and say that was the start of something huge.
This video was bang on brilliant stuff. I'll give it a shout out in my next video. I've forwarded it to Malcolm to check out too.
The viewers have spoken.
What an amazing documentary. Thanks for producing it.
Never seen this all tied together so well. Gonna share the heck out of it. Bravo and thank you.
Divine Science is officially a hit.
Amazing stuff, very nicely presented. New sub who can't consume your content quick enough. Great video, dude. Keep at it, you are doing the good work.
You did a great job putting this all together. It's a great overview, goes into amazing depth at times, so it's interesting for the larger swath of people. Well played, sir.
Okay, so I didn't sleep last night because I watched this 3 times and binged the rest of the channel. You have fantastic instincts for piecing concepts together. Almost every section was something I was already familiar with in a different context, and this documentary was the thread connecting them all.
Join us on a journey into a place of hidden knowledge. A place where science is stranger than fiction.
Welcome back to the Benefactor's Guide to Free Energy Devices, everybody. Welcome back, welcome back. Alright. Just a friendly reminder to all our happy viewers out there, this channel is brought to you by nobody. No corporate overlords here, no shady deals. This channel is brought to you, well, by you guys. So if you like what we do, smash that like button, drop a comment, and if you really want to help fuel the next industrial revolution, check out my Patreon and YouTube memberships. So we're connecting the dots, people. From Bedini motors to Rodin coils. From waveform symmetries to bioelectric feedbacks. From overlooked phenomena to overlooked pioneers. This isn't just a science podcast. It's a movement. We're taking the best of our past revelations, like when we saw the H-wave replicate across devices, or when Victor Sears blew our minds with his radiant geometry, and weaving them into a coherent radiant future. So whether you're soldering in your next garage, or thinking deeply about zero-point theory while waiting for your pizza, you're part of this. You're a high-voltage warrior in the new resistance. Alright, folks. Now we're going to take a dive into my synthetic AC hypothesis. It's one of the most mind-bending things I've been working on recently. So let's start with the basics here. We know that in traditional AC circuits, current alternates between positive and negative from the dipole, oscillating in a predictable manner. But what if, and stick with me here, there's a way to synthesize AC using radiant energy, a way to make alternating current without a traditional generator or massive power grid. The hypothesis goes like this. Instead of generating AC by forcing electrons back and forth with mechanical motion from the forward EMF, what if we could create a synthetic AC waveform by manipulating the energy available in the dipole with the back EMF in sync with the forward EMF? I know it sounds wild, but the more I've explored this concept, the more it fits with my observations. Think about the H-wave we've been discussing in Bedini systems. We've seen something like an H-wave that manifests in the Roden coil system around 800 Hz with a true sine wave, a true AC signal. And when we look closely at its symmetry, it might just be a reflection of what we need to synthesize AC at a much more efficient level. It's a combination of frequency alignment and waveform stability that could be the key to sustaining AC energy without massive losses. And here's the important part of all this. All of this energy is coming from the vacuum. So when I say synthesize AC, what I mean is using the vacuum's natural frequencies to produce what we traditionally think of as alternating current. This is radiant energy, not in the form of direct electrical output, but as the foundation for creating electrical systems that are inherently more efficient. So think about the Roden coil here and its relationship with the energy field around it. The patterns are there. We just have to learn how to listen to them. So let's get a bit deeper now into this. This is where things start to get truly exciting. When we talk about quantum feedback loops in energy systems, we're not just talking about feedback in the traditional sense of amplifiers here. We're talking about a real-time interaction with quantum fields. So imagine your energy system is interacting with the vacuum, like a feedback loop that doesn't lose energy but rather cycles it back into the system. This process is something that might turn the tables on conventional energy systems by recycling lost energy rather than letting it dissipate as heat. In quantum mechanics, everything operates as possibilities. So what if we could design an energy system that synchronizes with these quantum possibilities to maximize energy returns? This might just sound a little far out, but the truth is, we can tune these feedback loops in the same way we tune guitar strings or radio dials. So what does this mean for energy? It means our energy systems could, in theory, use resonance with quantum fields to maintain a stable outgoing output of usable power, tapping into the very foundation of the universe itself. So we're going to now dive into one of my absolutely favorite subjects, sacred geometry. And I know, you're thinking, here we go, this guy is going to go full woo-woo on us, but stick with me. There's a reason these geometric patterns are tied to energy systems. Let's look at the Roden coil, for instance. It's not just a random coil. It's based on the Fibonacci sequences, golden ratio spirals, and toroidal structures. These aren't just abstract patterns here. They're mathematical and energetic blueprints that guide energy in ways we haven't fully understood. So when we bring sacred geometry into the fold, we see how energy flows naturally through certain geometric patterns, and how these patterns maximize efficiencies of those systems. In fact, If we look closely at the designs of ancient architecture, many of these structures seem to be aligned with the same patterns of resonance we see in modern free energy devices. This isn't a coincidence. We're talking about zero-point energy, folks. This is the kind of science that uses ancient wisdom and modern tech to unlock secrets we've been overlooking for centuries. So let's wrap this up by taking a long-term view. What does the future look like if we can crack this code? We're talking about distributed energy systems powered by radiant energy. Imagine homes, cars, and even entire cities running on zero-point energy harvested from the vacuum and organized using quantum feedback loops and sacred geometric structures. Energy isn't just something we generate anymore. It's something we harvest, something we recycle, tune, and use efficiently in that manner. The beauty is that once we've cracked this, power grids might become obsolete, with every device being a self-sustaining node in the system, kind of like how we've seen with Maxwell Chikumbutsu's microsonic energy technology. This is the future we're building here, ladies and gentlemen, and we're not waiting for governments or massive corporations to solve this one. We're doing it here and now. And that's what I want to leave you with today. The future is already happening. We are the pioneers of a new way of thinking about energy. We're going to take another quick short break before I go over my final thoughts for the podcast. I want to, again, thank you guys for tuning in and all the wonderful comments. I will address your comments, questions, and concerns during the break. So stay tuned for more of the Benefactor's Guide to Free Energy Devices right here on Beneficence TV.
This video was bang on brilliant stuff. I'll
In a lab with dreams ignite, Lulu's mind is taking flight. Bouncing equations, there's a plan she designs, unlocking secrets where the cosmos aligns. I say let's reach the stars with knowledge as our guide. In this universe we're tracing our destinies collide. Knowledge, wisdom, a peek in the dark, juggling studies and life igniting the spark. Every calculation, every moment's so grand. She's building the future with her guiding hand. Every shift she's closer to the night. Family won't she find strength to find. I say let's reach the stars with knowledge as our guide. In this universe we're tracing our destinies collide. Through every challenge she won't lose sight. Her passion shines, a star in the night. With every step
system are treated like a toy. Ideas are misunderstood, but brilliance is his boy. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? Talking love 0 point, the points lost on them. Capital structures crumbling from the same old sim. They laugh like I'm crazy, but I see it all so clear. Exploited labor, unheard, injustice burning ears. Fighting for a change in this wasteland of noise. But they call me foolish, why teach and boys? Benefactor boy.
Alright, welcome back to the Benefactor's Guide to Free Energy Devices. Thank you for all the lovely comments and questions. You guys are awesome. Here on Beneficence TV, just a reminder, we don't take sponsorships because we actually like telling the truth. We don't have any corporate strings or muzzles, just raw independent research into ending fascism and unlocking zero-point energy. Our only sponsors are you. So hit that like button, subscribe, share, and if you really want to help power the cause, check out my Patreon and YouTube memberships, where you'll find exclusive behind-the-scenes content and get the first glance into all my vortex coil research before it goes public. A final note here, I'm considering sending one of these batteries to Bob Grenier for a detailed analysis in support of a working hypothesis I've been developing. This specific battery, a 12-volt, 20-amp-hour sealed lead-acid rechargeable battery, the Pirate battery I've been talking about, has been undergoing a unique conditioning process using what I refer to as negative electricity. The result has been promising so far. The battery appears to be holding a higher charge and operating more efficiently than its unconditioned counterpart. But the real question here is why? My current running hypothesis is that these changes may not be purely electrical, but electroplasmic in nature. That is, I suspect that negative electricity may carry or generate microscopic plasmoid structures, which in turn embed themselves into the metal plates of the battery. These plasmoids, similar in nature to those described by Malcolm Bendel in his thunderstorm generator and plasmoid unification model, may be influencing the battery's chemistry or structure in a meaningful way, possibly acting as an energetic or structural catalyst. Bendel's work suggests that plasmoids embed themselves into metal surfaces and remain latent until activated. If this is indeed what's happening here, the battery plates could potentially house embedded plasmoid clusters, subtly modifying the internal environment of the battery to favor more efficient charge storage and electrochemical behavior. Bendel claims that plasmoids, which are toroidal self-contained energy structures of plasma, can embed themselves into metallic surfaces and remain there until later reactivation. This supports my idea that negative electricity might carry or generate microscopic plasmoid clusters that do embed themselves in the plates of the battery, altering its behavior. This idea is echoed in the thunderstorm generator, where Bendel claims that plasmoids formed during specific discharge events, leaving lasting energetic effects in surrounding metal components, sometimes permanently altering their properties. So Malcolm Bendel's system emphasizes asymmetrical radiant discharges, sometimes described as cold electricity or negative electricity, as a plasmoid production mechanism. This aligns with Bedini's method of conditioning batteries using negative electricity, and it is plausible that the type of current we are currently using creates the right field environments for plasmoids to form and attach to nearby metals in the plates. So Malcolm Bendel suggests plasmoids can act as organizing principles, creating order at an atomic or subatomic level. In my batteries, this might translate to greater charge efficiency, improved ionic flow, and enhanced energy retention, which mirrors the results we're observing now. In previous Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project work from Bob Grenier, Grenier himself has observed what's called crenulated iron spheres in devices suspected to host plasmoid interactions. These structures are tiny fractal-like iron-based formations that act as markers for plasmoid technology. They could represent what's happening in my battery plates. This gives a concrete analytical pathway to validate my theory or disprove it. So the bottom line here is that while not proven in the mainstream, Bendel's model and anecdotal findings provide plausible theoretical and observational support for my idea that negative electricity conditioning can lead to plasmoid embedding in the battery plates, thereby giving us a reasonable scientific explanation of why the batteries are enhanced in their performance. To test this theory, I plan to send one of the conditioned batteries to Bob Grenier for metallurgical and microscopic analysis if we are successful in the conditioning process. Now, that last part is important. We are not successful yet in these conditioning processes. They're still undergoing the conditioning process, and they're not fully conditioned yet. But if we are able to fully condition one of these batteries, I will reach out to Bob Grenier and ask him if he's interested in analyzing one of these batteries. Specifically, he may be able to examine the metal for signs of crenulated iron spheres, a signature feature observed in various exotic energy devices believed to involve plasmoid behavior. They're essentially a marker that they leave behind when these plasmoids discharge. Essentially, crenulated iron spheres are an indicator that plasmoid activity has been found. If these structures are found, it would provide strong evidence that the conditioning process of these batteries does more than merely alter electrical behavior. It may be transforming the very matter within the battery. Whether this theory holds up under scrutiny remains to be seen, though. But the implications, if confirmed, could be profound. It would suggest that negative electricity, when correctly applied, acts not just as a current, but as a carrier of embedded information or microscopic structured plasma. And it might open up entirely new avenues for battery enhancement, free energy conditioning, or even novel states of matter entirely. For now, I'll complete the conditioning process if possible, continue to monitor the results, and, if warranted, send the battery off for full lab analysis to Grenier. This could mark a pivotal step in understanding how field-induced plasmoid interactions influence material systems, and perhaps how to harness them. So, all right, friends, that's all I have for today until the League of Extraordinary Inventors on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. So, if your battery is stuck at 12.52 volts, don't panic. Rotate it, love it, pulse it, tell it bedtime stories about Nikola Tesla. Remember, we're not chasing magic. We're reclaiming the practical miracles hidden in everyday magnetic fields. This has been the Dipole Dilemma. I'm the Benefactor, and you're absolutely radiant tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure to host this podcast for you all. As always, see you next time, and don't forget to flip your dipoles and question everything. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to stick around, 9 o'clock, the League of Extraordinary Inventors, right here on Beneficence TV, hosted by Mike Hay from Faraday Research.
Shattering the silence, feel the power. Revelations on the rise. From the shadows, light emerges, breaking through the veils of dark. 0 points and gravity converge, yeah. Dying voices, revelation start. Ancient whispers call. They're begging us to open our eyes. We stand tall, defying all their lies. Even in now, we're shattering the silence. Feel the power. Revelations on the rise. Generations on